At least 9 people died and 11 are missing due to floods and landslides caused by heavy rain from severe tropical storm Maring in Benguet Province and Palawan, Philippines. The country's Disaster Management Council confirms this Tuesday, October 12. Maring, with international name Kompasu, had maximum sustained winds of 100 kilometers per hour. It absorbed remnants of an earlier cyclone before making landfall in the Philippines Monday night, October 11. Some 1,600 people were evacuated. In Cagayan Province, at least one died due to drowning in Claveria town, while several towns are flooded. Cagayan authorities say more than 7,000 residents were asked to move to higher ground, while others were evacuated at a nearby church. Classes in the entire province are also suspended. The Office of the Vice President deploys teams to help in the relief and rescue operations in affected provinces. At past midnight on Tuesday, Vice President Leni Robredo tweets she formed 2 teams that are ready to rescue residents in Cagayan, Isabela, Benguet, and La Union. She also uses her Twitter account to ensure the necessary equipment for the rescue operations like rubber boats were given to the teams on the ground. Robredo spends the next hour replying to Twitter users who identified people in need of rescue or who offered the equipment that her rescue teams needed. Senator Kiko Pangilinan, who is running for vice president in the 2022 election, says food security, controlling the pandemic, and addressing corruption will be part of his platform in 2022. Pangilinan is the running mate of Vice President Leni Robredo. In a Rappler Talk interview Monday, October 11, Pangilinan says he will continue to champion better support for farmers and fisherfolk should he win the vice presidency.
Pag gumanda yung kanilang ani, dadami ang supply. Pag dumami ang supply, pabagsak ang presyo ng pagkain. Pag bumagsak ang presyo ng pagkain, then we are able to address and conquer poverty and hunger.
Pangilinan also says the next administration should aim to improve contact tracing and the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines within its first 100 days. Pangilinan is among the senators who have been consistent in grilling witnesses in the hearings to uncover more red flags in the Formally scandal. Robredo's campaign colors are now pink and blue, while Pangilinan is in green for agriculture. Pangilinan says the public should focus not on colors in 2022, but the problems caused by COVID-19.
Need more context, clarity, and perspective? Get the full picture with Rappler Plus. With exclusive content and events, you'll get an opportunity to discuss issues with reporters, experts, and featured guests while helping Rappler continue its fearless journalism. Join now.
A Pulse Asia survey in September shows 48% or around 5 in 10 Filipino adults get their political news from the internet. Of this, 44% or around 4 in 10 Filipino adults cite Facebook as their source. Only 10% or 1 in 10 Filipino adults say they visited news websites for political news. Only 7% cite social media sites and 1% of Filipino adults cite Twitter. The survey was conducted from September 6 to 11 this year via face-to-face interviews. The same survey shows 63% or around 6 in 10 Filipino adults use the internet and that the majority log on more than once a day. The survey also shows that messaging applications are frequently used by Filipino adults. Nearly all of those who access the internet say they use instant messaging applications. 98% of these say Facebook Messenger as their top choice. As for the top social media platforms, the Pulse Asia survey shows 99% or almost all of the respondents that access the internet say they are on Facebook. 57% or around 6 in every 10 Filipino adults meanwhile say they are on YouTube. A Rappler report found out a lot of disinformation about Philippine politics can be found on YouTube, particularly on showbiz channels. Ombudsman Samuel Martires clears Juan Bateo, Ben Tulfo, and officials of state broadcaster PTV in a 120 million peso ad deal flagged by auditors for incomplete documents and conflict of interest. In a resolution approved by Martires, it says there is no conspiracy between the Tulfos and PTV officials. The Ombudsman also rules there's no undue injury to the government. The project involves an agency-to-agency procurement of the tourism department under Teo back then and PTV to air promotional tourism materials. PTV then outsourced it to Bitag Media owned by Ben Tulfo, Teo's brother. Tulfo's Bitag was paid 71 million pesos for the deal, or almost 60% of the total project budget. 75% of the 95 million pesos was disbursed by DOT to PTV. Teo eventually resigned in May 2018 after more corruption issues hounded the DOT, like the anomalous Buhay Karinderya program under Cesar Montano. Singer-songwriter Paul McCartney reveals Beatles bandmate John Lennon instigated the group's breakup. For years, speculation persisted about what caused the breakup of the world's most famous pop group. It ranged from artistic differences and legal disputes to Lennon's marriage to artist Yoko Ono. In an upcoming episode of BBC Radio 4's This Cultural Life, McCartney discusses what he calls the most difficult period of his life. McCartney says Lennon walked into a room one day and said, "I am leaving the Beatles." McCartney says the band would have continued if Lennon had not walked away. He claims after Lennon announced he wanted to leave, the rest of the group were advised by their manager at the time to keep their impending disbandment a secret while he tied up some loose ends. McCartney's full interview with the BBC will be broadcast on Saturday, October 23.